Virtua Fighter is a 1993 fighting game, created for the Sega Model 1. It is the first arcade fighting game to feature fully 3D polygon graphics. The player faces all 8 characters, in a predetermined order, followed by a fight with the game's boss. Virtua Fighter 2 was released in 1994. Players select a character and attempt to use that character to overcome a series of opponents. This can be done by simply knocking the other character out, or by knocking them out of the square ring in which the fights take place. Virtua Fighter Remix was an update of the original Virtua Fighter, with higher polygon models, texture mapping, and some gameplay changes. It was given free to all registered Saturn owners in the United States via mail. Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series is a series of 11 Sega Saturn discs released in Japan in 1995, each containing images of one Virtua Fighter character. The final disc, Dural, could only be obtained by mailing the spine cards of the first 10 discs to Sega. Virtua Fighter Animation is a 1996 fighting video game. For the Game Gear and Master System, the main mode of gameplay is a story mode, which shows cut scenes between stages. Virtua Fighter Kids was released in 1996. All the characters have big heads and the music is at a faster pace. A variety of new features has been added to increase the gameplay, such as the ability to program specified moves for each character or new endings. Fighters Megamix is a 1996 fighting game for Sega Saturn. It is a crossover between Sega's 3D arcade fighting games Virtua Fighter 2 and Fighting Vipers. It allows gamers to play as the bosses of both Virtua Fighter 2 and Fighting Vipers. Virtua Fighter 3 was released in 1996. The game have undulation in the stages, such as a staircase in the Great Wall stage, a stage set on top of a sloping roof, and a raft constructed of individually moving elements on a bobbing water surface. Virtua Fighter 4 was released in 2001. The game allowed the player to escape as many throws as they could, and lengthened the window for performing a successful throw escape during an evade. A new move type called a sabaki was added. Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution was released in 2002. The game introduced new characters and adjusted every other character as well. The 2 new characters were the Judoka assassin Go Hinogami and the Muay Thai boxer Brad Burns.
Go!
Final Tuned is the final update to Virtua Fighter 4. This version of the game was released only into Japanese arcades, and it made some gameplay fixes and added new stages. Also, new customization items were added.
Fight 2! Ready?
Virtua Quest is a 3D action game with role-playing elements. And spin-off from the Virtua Fighter series, the player takes control of a boy named Sei, who has been convinced by his friend Hayami to start treasure hunting in the virtual world known as the Nexus. Virtua Fighter 5 was released in 2006. 17 invitations have been sent out for the 5th edition of the World Fighting Tournament. 15 fighters make a return and 2 new faces appear in the arena. The young girl Eileen using Monkey Kung Fu and Lucha Libre wrestler El Blaze. Virtua Fighter 5R was released in 2008. This new version was released for the arcades in 2008 and features brand new stages, as well as a new character named Jin Kyujo who practices karate. Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown was released in 2010. This update for the Sega Lindbergh arcade system and features new character costumes and new animations. This version of the game is playable in the in-game arcades in several of the Yakuza games. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown was released in 2021. This version features updated graphics using the Dragon Engine new background music. A new user interface, a new opening cinematic, and new online features.